Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. This video discusses another example of shameless climate fraud from a government agency. According to the NOAA Climate Extremes Index, summer afternoon temperatures in the United States have been increasing over the last few decades to record highs. According to the Climate Extremes Index, the percentage of the United States with summer maximum temperatures much above normal has been increasing since the 1980s and is now higher than it was during the Dust Bowl of the 1930s. This is a fascinating graph, but it has nothing to do with reality. Let's take a look at some real-world legitimate data. According to the National Climate Assessment, the length, intensity, and aerial coverage of heat waves in the United States has declined sharply since the 1930s. And according to the NOAA State Climate Summaries document from last year, the frequency of hot summer afternoons in the United States was much higher during the 1930s than it has been over the last 60 years. The average summer maximum temperature in the United States during the last 60 years has been much lower than it was prior to 1960. The frequency of hot afternoons in the United States prior to 1960 was much higher than it has been since 1960. The percentage of the United States which reached 95 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius sometime during the summer peaked in 1931 and has been plummeting over the last 90 years. The Climate Extremes Index from NOAA has nothing to do with reality. Let's take a look now at how they created it. This graph shows in purple measured summer afternoon temperatures in the United States, which peaked during the 1930s and the 1950s. And the red line shows the adjusted temperatures, where they removed the heat of the 1930s and the 1950s and created a warming trend which doesn't actually exist. What NOAA did was they cooled summer afternoon temperatures prior to 1960 about 1.25 degrees Fahrenheit, and they've warmed recent temperatures more than 0.5 degrees Fahrenheit. This is an impressive hockey stick of data tampering and fraud by the U.S. government. And that is how the U.S. government created their completely fake Climate Extremes Index. Toto's been pulling back the curtain on this massive climate fraud for the past 15 years. You can visit him, Kyrie Caesar, Toki Upala, and the 4 new puppies on the web at RealClimateScience.com.